The office building is almost empty. The lights in most windows have already gone dark. The elevators have stopped opening every few minutes. The city outside is glowing beneath the night sky. And somewhere on the top floor, a businessman sits alone in front of a computer screen. For years, he imagined this moment. The promotion, the raise, the recognition, the moment he would finally feel successful. Tonight, he got what he wanted. The email arrived. The contract was signed. The number in his bank account grew larger than it had ever been before. Yet something feels strangely familiar. The stress is still there. The anxiety is still there. The feeling that something is missing remains untouched. He closes his laptop and stares through the glass at the city below. Thousands of people, thousands of dreams, thousands of people chasing something. And a question quietly emerges. What if the thing we spend our lives chasing isn't the thing we actually need? Most people never stop long enough to ask that question, because life teaches us to focus on outcomes. The next achievement, the next milestone, the next reward, always the next thing, as if happiness is permanently waiting somewhere in the future, just beyond the next finish line. But there is a problem with that way of living. The finish line keeps moving. Every time we arrive, another one appears. And for many people, the most confusing moment in life arrives when they finally get what they wanted and discover they are still the same person. Before sunrise, a lone climber begins walking toward a mountain trail. The path ahead is hidden in darkness. The air is cold. The climb will take hours. Every step demands effort. Every turn reveals another stretch of steep terrain. As the sun rises, exhaustion begins to appear. The climber's legs ache. The breathing becomes heavier. Several times, the temptation to stop feels overwhelming. But eventually, after hours of struggle, the summit appears. The view is breathtaking. Clouds drift below the mountain peaks. The world looks different from up there. For a few moments, everything feels extraordinary. Then something interesting happens. The feeling begins to fade. The mountain remains behind. Life continues. The summit becomes a memory. Yet something else remains. The person who made the climb. The patience developed during the difficult sections. The confidence built during uncertainty. The discipline required to keep moving forward. The view was temporary. The transformation was not. This is where many people misunderstand success. They believe the reward is waiting at the top. But perhaps the top was never the reward. Perhaps the reward was hidden in every difficult step along the way. And if that is true on a mountain, could it also be true in life? In another city, an employee sits alone in a quiet office. Months of effort have finally paid off. The promotion arrived. The title changed. The salary increased. For years, this was the goal, the thing that seemed important, the thing that appeared capable of changing everything. At first, it feels exciting. Friends offer congratulations. Family members express pride. Co-workers offer admiration. Everything appears to be moving in the right direction. But several months later, something unexpected happens. The excitement disappears. The title becomes normal. The larger paycheck becomes ordinary. The achievement that once seemed life-changing quietly becomes routine. And now another goal appears. Another promotion. Another target. Another future version of happiness. Many people spend decades trapped inside this cycle. Achievement. Temporary satisfaction. Adaptation. Another pursuit. The pattern repeats again and again. Not because people are selfish. Not because ambition is wrong, but because external rewards were never designed to create lasting fulfillment. They create moments, not meaning. And perhaps that explains why so many people continue climbing while secretly wondering why the view never feels quite as satisfying as they imagined. The answer may have nothing to do with what they are pursuing. It may have everything to do with what they are becoming while they pursue it. As the years pass, the businessman continues working. The employee continues chasing promotions. The entrepreneur continues building. And on the surface, everything appears to be moving forward. But life has a way of keeping score differently than we do. One evening, A father arrives home after another long day. The house is quiet. The television is off. The kitchen is empty. On the dining table sits a cold plate of food. Beside it lies a child's drawing. Crayon lines. Bright colors. A simple picture of a family standing together. At the bottom are a few words written in uneven handwriting. "I waited for you." The father stares at the drawing, only for a moment. Then he tells himself what most people tell themselves. "I'm doing this for them. Just a little longer. Just until things get better. Just until I reach my goal." But goals have a strange habit of multiplying. 1 turns into 2. 2 become 5. 5 become 10. And suddenly years have passed. The money increased. The responsibilities increased. The opportunities increased. Yet somewhere along the way, something else quietly decreased. Time, connection, presence, moments that never return. Because life doesn't only ask what you're building, it also asks what you're trading for it. And sometimes the most expensive costs never appear on a bank statement. On a rainy afternoon, a man walks alone through a city street. Traffic moves around him. People rush past carrying umbrellas. No one notices him. No one knows the thoughts running through his mind. Several years earlier, he had everything he wanted: a successful career, financial security, the respect of others. From the outside, his life looked complete. Then life changed. A business failed. The economy shifted. Opportunities disappeared. The things he spent years building suddenly became fragile. For months he replayed every mistake, every decision, every missed opportunity. He believed he had lost everything. Until one day, he noticed something surprising. The things he lost were external. The things he gained remained. His discipline remained. His experience remained. His resilience remained. His ability to solve problems remained. His ability to begin again remained. The money had vanished. The person who earned it had not. And for the first time, he realized something most people never understand until adversity forces them to see it. Possessions can disappear overnight. Character cannot. Titles can be taken away. Character cannot. Recognition can fade. Character cannot. The storm revealed what success had hidden. His greatest asset was never what he owned. It was who he had become. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. Not a mirror that reflects your appearance. A mirror that reflects your character, your habits, your choices, your priorities. What would you see? Most people spend years improving their circumstances. Far fewer spend years improving themselves. We live in a culture obsessed with visible results, visible success, visible achievements, visible rewards. But the most important changes in life are often invisible. Discipline is invisible. Patience is invisible. Wisdom is invisible. Emotional strength is invisible. Nobody applauds them the way they applaud success. Yet those qualities determine almost everything that follows. Consider 2 people facing the exact same challenge. One becomes bitter. The other becomes stronger. One blames circumstances. The other accepts responsibility. One quits. The other grows. The challenge was identical. The outcome was not. Because life is constantly shaping people through the experiences they encounter. The same event can create 2 entirely different human beings. Which raises a difficult question. When hardship enters your life, what is it creating? A stronger version of you? Or a more defeated version? Because every experience leaves something behind. The only question is whether it leaves growth or regret. And that question leads directly to the truth most people spend years searching for. As the years pass, something strange begins to happen. The goals that once seemed enormous become memories. The promotion becomes a line on a resume. The business becomes a chapter in a story. The money becomes a number that rises and falls. The applause fades. The excitement fades. Even the victories fade. But something else remains. An elderly man sits quietly on a bench overlooking a lake. The water barely moves. The evening sun reflects across the surface. There are no meetings to attend, no deadlines to meet, no one left to impress, only silence. And silence has a way of revealing what noise hides. Looking back, the old man does not remember every paycheck. He does not remember every sale. He does not remember every award. But he remembers the moments that changed him. The difficult years, the painful setbacks, the risks that demanded courage, the failures that demanded resilience, the responsibilities that forced him to mature. Because when life is viewed from a distance, something becomes clear. The events themselves matter less than the person they created. And perhaps this is the hidden scoreboard nobody talks about. The scoreboard measuring who you are becoming. Not what you are collecting, not what you are accumulating, not what you are displaying to the world, but who you are becoming beneath all of it. While everyone else is watching the visible scoreboard, life is watching the invisible one. A young man studies late into the night, not because he enjoys it, because he refuses to quit. An entrepreneur starts over after failure, not because failure feels good, because growth demands it. A father chooses patience during a difficult season, not because patience is easy, because becoming the right person matters more than winning the argument. These moments rarely make headlines. Nobody applauds them. Nobody celebrates them. Yet these moments quietly shape a life. This is where many people become confused. They think success creates character, but often the opposite is true. Character creates success. Discipline creates opportunity. Responsibility creates trust. Consistency creates results. Patience creates wisdom. The reward appears later. The transformation happens first. And suddenly, a quote from Jim Rohn begins to sound very different. Not like motivation, not like self-help, not like a clever saying, but like an observation about reality itself. The major value in life is not what you get. The major value is what you become. Most people hear those words. Very few truly understand them. Because understanding requires experience. It requires loss. It requires disappointment. It requires effort. It requires time. Only then do those words begin to reveal their meaning. The greatest value was never waiting at the finish line. The greatest value was being created during the journey. Imagine a traveler walking down a long road. The destination is far away. The future remains uncertain. The path is not always smooth. Sometimes the road climbs steep mountains. Sometimes it disappears into storms. Sometimes it feels endless. Yet the traveler continues, year after year, step after step. Like most people, he begins the journey focused on arrival, focused on outcomes, focused on rewards, focused on what waits at the end. But something changes along the way. The road teaches patience. The storms teach resilience. The uncertainty teaches faith. The setbacks teach wisdom. And without realizing it, the traveler slowly becomes someone different. Someone stronger. Someone calmer. Someone more capable. Someone more prepared for life. One day, after many years, the traveler reaches a place where he can finally look back. And that's when he notices something surprising. The road gave him far more than he ever received from the destination. Because the destination was only a moment. The journey was a transformation. The destination was temporary. The transformation remained. The destination eventually became a memory. The transformation became part of who he was. And standing there, looking back across the road he once feared, he finally understands something that had been true from the very beginning. Life was never asking, "What did you get?" Life was asking, "What did you become while pursuing it?" The money mattered, but not as much as the discipline it required. The success mattered, but not as much as the character it built. The achievement mattered, but not as much as the person it helped create. Because one day, every title will be forgotten. Every possession will belong to someone else. Every finish line will disappear into the past. But the person you became, the courage you earned, the wisdom you gained, the discipline you developed, the strength you built during difficult seasons, those things remain. And perhaps that is the quiet truth hidden beneath every goal we pursue. We spend our lives chasing rewards, while life spends those same years shaping the person chasing them. And in the end, The greatest reward was never what waited at the finish line. It was the person who arrived there.